the familiar Village Hearth logo on the package, you know you're selecting the freshest, most flavorful buns available. Village Hearth Buns, baking our best for you.
Someone will come in, they'll have a noise under the hood, and we'll go out and take a look at it. We can determine by the type of noise, and usually if we can determine where it's coming from, we can direct them to the piece that has failed. My name is Dick Lemke. Working at Sturtevant's as long as I have, it's definitely become my career. When you need someone to help solve the problem, start with a Sturtevant store near you.
STURTVANTS, come and see Sturtevant's. Has it Sturtevant's?
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
For nearly 100 years, Connex has been providing the know-how and materials to help their neighbors grow. Through partnerships with builders, homeowners, and contractors, Connect Home Centers have impacted our communities, making them stronger and safer through support of local organizations and neighborhood beautification projects. Improving the quality of life for others is important to us. We are Connect Home Center, your hometown lumberyard lending a helping hand in building our communities since 1928.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Fox Sports!
And here's what you need to know.
Colin Kaepernick hasn't played in an NFL game since the 2016 season, but today he's getting a workout with the Las Vegas Raiders. More Raiders news as the civil lawsuit filed by former Raiders head coach John Gruden against the NFL will go to trial after a Las Vegas judge denied a motion to dismiss the case. The NFL, though, is appealing this decision. One other NFL note, Steelers officially named Omar Khan as their general manager. Tonight, it's Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA playoffs. Celtics and Heat, 8:30 Eastern Time. Celtics guard Marcus Smart, a game-time decision because of his ankle injury. ESPN reports that Celtics center Robert Williams is trending towards playing tonight despite being listed as questionable. Heat guards Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry also questionable for tonight's game. At the French Open, men's top seed Novak Djokovic and fifth seed Rafael Nadal straight sets winners, while sixth seed Carlos Alcaraz needed 5 sets to win his match. Tigers just beat the Twins in 10, 4-2.
It's time for the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, live interviews, and local sports. Exclusively on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City. And streaming online right now at foxsportsrapidcity.com. From the biggest national names to the hottest local stories, welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate.
Oh, welcome in, and good Wednesday afternoon to you. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it as always. Hope you're having a solid day today. Had a tough 24 hours, right? The Nate Brown Show is back. Fox Sports Rapid City. Hope all you parents with kids, had a one of those things where, hey, you kind of hug them a little tighter, you pay attention a little closer, and it's been one of those things with elementary kids. Tough deal, and we're gonna keep plugging away and keep getting after it here on the program and try and provide a little light fun, some discussion, some thought-provoking sports talk. The Nate Brown Show, glad to be back, and it's always a great day in the Black Hills here on a Wednesday. The Nate Brown Show brought to you in part by Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Since 1976 now, that's the team, and I'll tell you, better access, more options right now at Black Hills Ortho. The orthopedic experts keeping you in the game. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Learn more at bhosc.com. Since 1976, taking care of the weekend warrior like you and me to the elite athlete out there on the field today. Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, now with urgent care. Again, your first stop, BHOSC.com. On the Wednesday show, let's line it up, and some interesting topics today, some great guests across the board, some new ones that you haven't heard from today, and we'll get into it, like Jeremy Evans. He's a sports attorney. Now, I said we haven't had very many attorneys on this program, and you know that line I always use. I say, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, today we have a sports attorney. He's a specialist in sports law, and he's into this name, image, and likeness scenario. What does this all mean, and what has the NCAA been worried about? What could the Power 5 conferences maybe take on if they decide to do their own thing? I'm going to get into the name, image, and likeness from the law side. We'll have an interesting discussion. Sports attorney from L.A., Jeremy Evans, he's on. He has his own sports law podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. So Jeremy Evans is in. We'll go out to Fox Sports NFL writer Eric Williams today. He's going to join us, national NFL writer, foxsports.com. Eric Williams on tonight. Adam Brenneman, former tight end for Penn State, now college football analyst. Adam Brenneman live tonight. David Tewksbury is in. You know David, he's with Fox Sports Aberdeen. David Tewksbury, Hub City Radio, Fox Sports Aberdeen, where I'm still interested in this high school football coach story out there, and we're going to discuss that a little bit more now that some details have come out with the Aberdeen Central high school football coach that resigns yesterday, and it all really had to do with a difference in philosophy of who should run the off-season training program, and there was a partnership that the school had with Sanford, and it's really interesting. So after 1 year, the coach is gone. David Tewksbury on Fox Sports Aberdeen. And finally, Alan Bertram's on tonight. Alan Bertram, the new women's basketball head coach at Mount Marty. And I'll tell you, he's got a pretty big headline today that I want to get into when it comes to high school basketball in the state. High school basketball. So Alan Bertram coming up, Mount Marty women's basketball coach. A big Wednesday lineup. Let's get you on today, 720-1067 if you want to join us, 720-1067. The Boss Pizzeria and Sports Bar Sports Line live for you to connect to the studio, and the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Direct text the show, 720-1067. Oh, how could I forget on a Wednesday? We got Post 22 baseball tomorrow night, so on a Wednesday, we're going to throw in 5 questions from Chris. How could I forget? Our loyal listener, Chris, sending in 5 new questions early, and we've got them today. 5 questions from Chris and 5 rapid answers from me. Okay, I've got something for you. Okay? Let's see. I've got... this is, on this show a lot, you know what I get called, right? Well, sometimes you guys enjoy it, but sometimes, I have some people say, Nate, you're old school. You're old school. So I wanted to start the show with somebody that we all should realize is old school. We all have a lot of respect for him, and he's got 3 things on his mind that he just unveiled of how the NFL can change their game and improve their game. This is kind of, I say, some guys say you're old school. I'm like, dude, I'm not that old. I mean, I feel like I'm getting older and older. I get it. We all are. But this guy is old school. And I'm trying to determine where I sit on his proposals. So I'm going to throw this out in some questions to you, the audience, and I want to know where the audience sits on this. So, with the NFL holding their meeting right now, okay, you had the NFL owners meeting, and they're talking about ways to improve the game and various things, right? They go through all of that stuff. Vikings Hall of Fame coach Bud Grant is speaking about how the NFL could improve on the field, not all this bells and whistles and the TV deals and all of that stuff, not the money-making side. He said, I'm going to offer this up on the field, okay? What should the NFL do to improve on the field? This is legendary Bud Grant, 95 years old. And by the way, you remember, he was a CFL guy. He was a Canadian Football League guy. He went CFL, Grey Cup winner up there 4 times. And they've got some different rules. And he said, the NFL never wants to do this. They think they've got everything down, but maybe they should tweak some things and change some things. Today, Bud Grant says 3 things the NFL could do to improve the quality of play is what? He said, 1, no more fair catches on punts. No more fair catches on punts. And he said, I'm going to take that one from the CFL. The CFL says, it's not like we have guys getting blasted on punts, so you have to give the return man 5 yards, a 5-yard cushion, which, by the way, I haven't watched enough Canadian football to realize that you can't have fair catches, so a 5-yard cushion from the defense, otherwise it's a penalty, then no fair catches. The punt returner has to catch it and return it, okay? He says, there's one. NFL, do away with the fair catches on punts. It has to be a live action play, okay? The returner has to go. And then he threw this in. We can't have the touchbacks on kickoffs being beneficial for teams. So he goes through it this way, and he says either move the kickoff back, move it back even further so we don't have so many touchbacks go through the end zone and the return guys just let the ball go. Or he said if you are going to have a version of a touchback, you shouldn't bring it out to the 25. You should bring it out to maybe like the 15. So then you start thinking that kick returner going, man, if I touch back, coach tells me to take a touchback, it's coming out to the 25, right? Instead of, well, if I want to get out to the 15, is that a little iffy? Maybe I can return it usually better than that. And so basically 95-year-old Bud Grant, you know what people are going to say today, right? Bud, this is what the NFL's trying to get rid of. Meaning the high collision plays, the high speed plays, and they're trying to get rid of the concussion stuff. They're trying to get rid of the kickoff returns and the punt returns. Bud Grant today, Vikings coach, 95 years old, said, there's a way you can do this. We should actually improve the quality of play. No fair catches on punts. No touchbacks on kickoffs. And he said, if you do have it, don't bring it out to the 25. He said, don't reward them with a touchback. Get it to the 15 maybe if you decide to do the touchback. And then finally, he said at the end of the game, you shouldn't just have kneel downs that waste out the clock. He said, I think about this. The team on offense should have to make a yard or the clock stops. So he's throwing in some new, how about this? Bud Grant. You got to love him. Bud Grant, 95 years old, saying, hey, here's some ideas. Throw stuff out. By the way, what's Roger Goodell going to say when he sees this today? Is that just Bud Grant, being goofy, saying goofy things? I actually think that's interesting. Give him some credit. Bud Grant says, if you're on offense, you could just kneel it down. You waste out the clock, end of story. He said, let's do this. You got to make a yard. So you keep the game going. You got to make a yard. The 1 yard gain. Otherwise, the clock will stop. The clock will stop. He said, why? Keep the fans interested. Keep the fans interested. Maybe there's a fumble. Maybe there's a penalty on the play. So I look at these 3 things. I don't have any idea if this is going to get any thought, but he threw it out there with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune and said there's ways to take boring parts out of the game. And I do have to credit him with this. I mean, we all know the kickoffs are a non-factor for the most part. I mean, it's total touchback. I don't have the stats in front of me. How many touchbacks have we had the last couple of years? I mean, it's off the charts. How many good punt returns do we have ever? Very, very few. So you're talking about some pretty exciting plays when guys take it to the house, when guys, pretty huge impact plays, and he's saying it's become boring. Bud Grant's telling you the whole product there has become boring in the special teams aspect. And then at the end of games, this is where I think maybe you're probably not going to get this one because you're sitting here saying, well, the offensive team has the advantage. They have the ball. They have the lead. They can't just kneel it down, Bud. You're going to have to make them run a play. Nobody's going to go for that. So how I see it is he's got his 3 deals to excite the game, excite the fans, keep plays interesting and not boring. Would the 2 special teams one get any interest at all? Would the 2 special teams one? CFL does it. How does it work? Do they have too many collisions in punt returns because they don't have any fair catches in the game? Or does it work pretty well? No fair catches. You at least have a live play and not fair catch after fair catch. The touchback thing is interesting to me. I think we have so many touchbacks, the kick return game is gone. It's absolutely gone. So again, the NFL would flip this over and say, well, we've looked at it. These are the plays we don't want. And then you have to ask yourself, I mean, Bud Grant even said in the piece today, this basically, why do we even have the plays? If we're doing it the way we do it now, why do they even have the plays? Why do they have the kickoff? I mean, it's 9 times out of 10, it seems to be a touchback because the kickers are that good. They move the ball up even further, and it's touchback after touchback. It's interesting. Bud Grant, the old school football fans, I would think, would say, hey, I'm with Bud. So let me ask the question of the day. Let's see where people are at. Listener text. Let's see. Okay. I want to pull this up. Okay. Vikings legend Bud Grant says the NFL should make some new rules. What do you say about the new rules? I just explained them to you. No fair catches anymore. Defense gives a 5-yard cushion. You have to have it. And there's a punt return every punt. There's a punt return of some sort every punt. And no more touchbacks. So he would prefer, Bud Grant says, let's move the ball back. Don't move it up. Move it back so we can get some kick returns. Do you agree with Bud? Very, very close vote. Very close vote. 720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line. You agree with Bud Grant? Kickoff returns, punt returns, make new rules, make them part of the game again. 52% of you say no, just keep it as it is. 48% of you say yes, you can make those plays work. How about that? I thought more people might go with Bud on this from a football fan standpoint. From a football fan standpoint, I thought more people might go with Bud. Let's see, 720-1067. Just get rid of the instant replay on TV. It would make the game so much better. People would be a bit nice to the refs in all sports. We wouldn't think every call is a bad call. So you're saying get rid of the instant replay. Get rid of the instant replay. What about this scenario? What about this scenario? Bud's sitting here talking about, okay, are there plays in football that are boring plays? I would agree with him on that. Those plays are boring plays. Will the NFL ever change course? It sure doesn't feel that way. The NFL's prioritized injury reduction. Bud Grant says today you can get injured on any play. That's what he says. You can get injured on any play. Bud Grant, I attended enough meetings to know the NFL wants to avoid admitting Canadian football has a good idea about anything, yet they should follow Canada and take away the fair catch, for example. And he got into this. You can get injured on any play. Oh, well, that's what he says. Injuries happen on every play. They've made several changes on the way you can block on the kickoff anyway. Keep that stuff, but you wait 3 minutes through a timeout. You come back, you kick off the ball. We walk the ball out to the 25. It's ridiculous. Old school Bud Grant. I kind of like that. Listener text, just eliminate the kicker, the punter, the place kicker. Taking them all out. Everything involving kicks is boring. Well, that's what Bud Grant's trying to say. Bud Grant, by the way, is trying to say there can be some exciting plays. Do we like punt returns if they provide some electricity? No doubt. Do we like kickoff returns? They provide some electricity? No doubt. Bud Grant, leave it to Bud today. 95-year-old former Vikings coach to bring some new ideas. Now, I would say some of the folks are going to laugh. That's what they're going to laugh, saying, oh, he wants to eliminate kneel downs at the end of the game. Oh, good idea. Well, I don't think that one's going to play. But give him a little bit of look on this one. He didn't just pull out the fair catch stuff. That's from the CFL. And give him a little bit of a look on the touchbacks. I don't think you should laugh him off the stage. I don't think you should laugh him off the stage. Some people will. By the way, my audience here in the poll question says just keep the way it is. Well, it's a close vote, though, 52%. Listener text, stat of the day for you, the Vikings have the most touchbacks in the league. Really? Most touchbacks in the league. Maybe that's why Bud's so fired up. Thanks for calling. You're live today, and you go ahead.
Let's quit playing girl ball and play football.
Here we go. So let me just guess. You're on Bud's side. Let me guess.
Bud's a man. I'm always on the side of a man.
Okay. By the way, I don't just joke around about this, Steve. I think have punts and kicks gotten a non-factor, and it feels that way to me. It does.
They don't even have to touch the ball on the kickoff.
Correct.
I mean, if it hits the end zone, they just start walking, and I say you got to down it like the old days. Catch it, put a knee down.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying on that. By the way, he said if you do, don't bring it all the way out to the 25. Bring it out to the 15. Don't reward a touchback. That's what he's saying.
I've been saying that for years. Everybody wants a free token. There are no free tokens in life, Nate.
I'm saying I'm going to give Bud some thought on this. I don't think the NFL will because they're going to say, forget it. It's
well, the NFL is so phony now. I mean, I could watch WWE and get about the same fake hits.
By the way, I don't know what it is anymore. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what it is.
I mean, come on, look at the quarterbacks. Hey, I got a thing, and it just drove me nuts. Everybody says Houston Astros, oh, cheaters. Well, for years, Tom Brady was a cheater. Now, how in the last 2.5 years did he quit being a cheater and the greatest quarterback ever lived? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I know. You ask a lot. By the way, I don't think the NFL is going to bring Bud Grant or you on as a rules consultant, but that's okay. It's okay.
You know what, Nate? That's why you got the best show. Even though I tell people that you let me use your private jet with your picture on it to go play golf in Tucson once a week.
Yes.
But, no, you do. You got to go through 5 people to get on these other shows.
I got you,
like
buddy.
Like the Danettes. Come on.
I got
what
you.
What a sissy deal.
I appreciate it.
Come on.
Thanks for getting in, buddy. I appreciate it.
Talk
as
to you
always. By the way, Bud Grant, you can easily just put him in 95 years old and he doesn't know what he's talking about. I think some of those are legitimate. Not the eliminating the kneel downs, that's not going to fly. But I'm gonna say, and you may say, oh, there I am again, old school. You're just out of touch. Well, I understand the NFL is not going to say, wow, Bud Grant, new idea. Wow, let's improve hits on kickoffs and punts. I understand they don't want to do it. Is it, I guess, boring plays of football, as Bud Grant calls it today? Boring parts of every game? Yeah, I think it is. So let's update that. 51% of you say keep the rules as is. 49% of you say, hey, let's make the kickoff returns and punt returns different. Make the plays work, like Bud Grant says. A quick timeout on the Nate Brown Show. By the way, the NFL actually, they're worried about the big things. I'm being sarcastic. No, really. They're considering eliminating the Pro Bowl, which I'm all for. I don't want the Pro Bowl, but what should we do? Eric Williams, national NFL writer for Fox Sports, up next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Nate Brown Show and like us on Facebook by searching Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hello, this is Robbie at Bargain Barn Tire Pros. At Bargain Barn Tire Pros, we are what we like to call your one-stop vehicle shop. Some of you don't realize that we're more than just a tire shop. We are a full-service center. We do brakes, shocks, alignments, and we also do exhaust. So if your vehicle is loud or making a squeak, call the pros at Tire Pros. 1610 Campbell Street, 1811 Deadwood Avenue, or look us up on the web at bargainbarntire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows around 48 tonight under clear skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tomorrow, highs around 79. Clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 55. Temperatures a bit above average Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 70s to the upper 80s. Chance for scattered storms Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 68.
Buying or building a home is one of the biggest investments most people will ever make. At Pioneer Bank and Trust, we want to help you through the process. We'll find the right type of loan at the best rates available. Pioneer Bank and Trust's local home loan experts are here to help you every step of the way. From your first home to your dream home, all the way to your forever home. Apply online at mylocal.loan.com. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
From the minute you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, Black Hills Energy is here to support, inspire, and drive your next adventure. Because supporting your day-to-day is our everyday. And we are always here, ready for your next step. Black Hills Energy. Ready.
Have you suffered an injury, or maybe you're experiencing pain that just won't get better? There's an expert team of physicians right here in Rapid City ready to help you get back in the game. The Rehab Doctors. They're the official sports medicine physicians of the Rapid City Rush, and they're the team that wants to help you get back on track. You have a choice for your medical care, and there's no referral necessary. For pain relief without surgery, take the first step to feeling better. Just go to therehabdoctors.com.
Chatting with Brian at Anytime Auto Sales. You know, people are restless with all that's going on in the world, and they're ready to get out and travel.
And we're here to help you take care of all your automotive needs before that big road trip. From oil changes, batteries, to charging your AC system, starting at just $149 for most vehicles.
Just a one-stop shop.
Absolutely. Plus, we carry over 30 brand name tires and have deals as good as anywhere. And flat out the best brake deal around at just $329 per axle with new pads, rotors, and a lifetime warranty.
Hey, I know you guys can handle just about anything. Plus, you're an ASE and AAA approved repair facility to boot.
Yes, sir. Our shop and mechanics have passed thorough testing in all of the disciplines of automotive repair to achieve these AAA and ASE certifications.
Check out Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, folks, for a happy and affordable motoring life. The place to trust. Your complete AAA and ASE certified automotive repair specialist. See anytime.com. And, of course, at the corner of Highway 79 in East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
And welcome back in as we get started on a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show, providing some thought-provoking sports talk, a little breather from the heavy stuff out there. We'll talk to Jeremy Evans coming up, sports attorney. I think it's the first time we've had a sports law guy on the show, and I want to get into a lot of the stuff with name, image, and likeness, like from a guy that knows. You know, is everybody worried about getting sued? The NCAA, the Power 5 conferences, how's it all come to this? Sports law attorney, from California, Jeremy Evans coming up. Eric Williams is on as we get going, national NFL writer, foxsports.com. Eric Williams back on Fox Sports Rapid City. Eric, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing okay, and thanks for having me again. I really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate your time. I got a couple of questions here for you, and I think some of the people are going to laugh at this, But I started my show with it. We got a lot of Vikings fans up here, so I said, when 95-year-old legend Bud Grant talks, we got to cover it. We got to cover it. And Bud Grant says, hey, some of these plays in the NFL are boring. They're not good. The NFL should improve the quality of play. He's going against everything the NFL has prioritized, which is a reduction of injuries, a reduction of collisions. And Bud Grant says, we got to spice up the punt return. We got to spice up the kickoff return. I don't think he also said, hey, we shouldn't have kneel downs at the end of games. I don't think that one's going to play at all. But does Bud Grant have a point with fans? Do you believe?
I don't think he's wrong. I do think that when the NFL, thinks about rule changes, that they do have to kind of keep the fans in mind, because, that's how they're making their money, is fans either attending games or watching them on TV. And so if you have a play that the ball's not put in play the majority of the time because kickers have developed such strong legs that they're able to kick it out of the end zone, or teams just don't want to take it out of the end zone because the risk of not getting a good player getting back to the 25-yard line versus just kneeling down and taking it, are leaning more towards, letting it in the end zone. I do think you have to kind of consider the alternatives. The USFL obviously is addressing that because they've moved kickoffs to the 20-yard line, and they've created rules where they're trying to limit those high collision contact areas by making the kick return team set up their blocks in a specific area, so it's more like a regular football play than the high collision contact that you see on regular kickoffs. So maybe they could look to the USFL a little bit in terms of some of the innovative things that they're doing. And I know that the NFL is doing it because when I cover the USFL, I see NFL officials there, after games, and kind of talk to them a little bit as I'm going down to interview players. So that's certainly a test area that the NFL can use in terms of innovation. And I think, like Grant mentioned, the CFL, I think that's also an area that they should look to. I like the idea of the 5-yard halo area for punt returns.
You do?
So again,
okay.
It's more like a football play. Now you have to break down and make a play instead of just, barreling down the field, 40 yards and getting all that head of steam and be able to hit somebody, if they're not fair catching it. So I think all those things, make some sense. So it makes the play an actual football play. And if you're a punter or a kicker, you want to stay employed. Or if you're a guy that's a gunner that's running down and covering those kicks, it's a way to kind of keep those back-end roster guys still part of the game.
Okay, Eric, you've covered the league. You cover games. Do you think in general, hey, Bud Grant says today, he said, here's what happens. We have a timeout. Then we take a commercial break. We come back. We kick it off. It goes through the end zone. We walk the ball out to the 25. He's saying, in general, these plays are probably, as far as the quality of play, the worst plays in NFL games. Do you think there are not enough punt returns and kick returns, which can be an exciting play in general?
Right. Well, yeah, I that's my point. Is I don't think it's becoming it's not becoming a play that we generally see in football because, again, the kicker's legs are so strong. Now, you might see some special teams coaches use a strategy where they pooch kick it because they want to make sure that they try to get the team inside the 20-yard line. But they also have to kind of think about, players available on the 53-man roster that week. Injuries are a concern, and you're playing 17 games now, so it's not just 16 games that those guys are running down there. So all those things are kind of in consideration when coaches choose how they're gonna play those plays, whether they're kickoffs or kickoff returns or punts and punt returns. And so, yeah, I do think that it makes sense to kind of spice it up a little bit. But that said, you also have to take into consideration the injuries. The NFLPA, which represents the players, is going to have a say in this as well. So I think Bud understands it's kind of harder to navigate, those specific rule changes because a lot of people have a say in it.
Eric Williams on NFL writer, FoxSports.com, live on the Nate Brown Show. Speaking of NFL considering actual changes, Bud Grant would want him to consider those other things, and I think he has some legitimate points. This one here, the Pro Bowl. The NFL owners had their quarterly meeting. They talked about, and Roger Goodell said, well, we got to fix the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl's not working. The Pro Bowl is not working. Is there anything that can work? People say 7-on-7, the fastest man competition. I don't know if I'm going to get plugged in on that, but I'm not plugged in on the Pro Bowl. What can they do?
It's a hard discussion because, like you said, what we're getting right now is not football. I mean, and I understand why guys aren't playing hard because the risk-reward of getting hurt in a Pro Bowl versus being able to play the next season, you're going to lean more towards make sure I get through the game without anything weird happening. 20, 30 years ago, guys didn't make as much, and so that money that the winner got in the Pro Bowl meant more, right? Now it doesn't mean as much. So, I don't know if you want to go to like a superstars competition like we used to see back in the day where you had a bunch of athletes compete in a lot of different events, whether it's obstacle course or things like that. I don't know if fans would really be interested in that. And then the Pro Bowl is just more of a vacation for the player and their families, to go to Hawaii and you don't see a game. The ratings themselves, people still watch the Pro Bowl, even though we joke about it. I think they still get decent ratings when you compare it to other sports, so there's that as well. But they do need to figure out an alternative because I just feel like it does football a disservice to watch it played the way that they play it in the Pro Bowl.
Okay, does it hurt the NFL's brand enough, meaning, Eric, that the owners and Roger Goodell would actually eliminate it? I don't know if we're to that point.
I agree with you, Nate, because like I said, I think people are still watching, even though it's not actual football, because they want to see the stars. They want to see these different, elite athletes from all these different teams on the field together, playing in a game, even though it's not a real football game. So you're right. I don't know if we're at the tipping point yet where they're willing to just get rid of the game completely. Do we see skills competitions maybe? You mentioned 7-on-7. Maybe, although I feel like 7-on-7 would actually kind of turn into actual football with the competitive juices flowing, and maybe you'd see more contact than you would like to see in that situation. I think it's a great discussion. I do think they need to take a look at it, a close look, and try to figure out alternatives. Maybe one of the ways is to shorten the game. Maybe instead of playing 4 quarters, maybe you play a half, and guys would be more inclined to play harder knowing that they're going to play less minutes.
Tell you, it's a tough one. That Pro Bowl thing, that topic, I talk about it every year. It's a tough one. Eric Williams on, couple more. I'll let him run. FoxSports.com, national NFL writer. So we have this cloud over Deshaun Watson. There's folks that have accused him on HBO talking about it. There's this investigation from the NFL that's getting set to wrap up, it feels like. How tough of a spot here? It's hard. We don't know all the details, all the stuff the NFL has, and they're looking at how tough of a spot is Roger Goodell and the league going to be in going into this season to decide what are they going to do?
Very tough. The optics are not great, especially when I don't know if you saw the HBO show yesterday that had some of the people that are accusing Deshaun of the transgressions that he allegedly did. So anytime that's out there, that's going to be something that the league is going to have to address. You obviously had, Ezekiel Elliott and what happened to him in the past, and Ben Roethlisberger as maybe benchmarks that the NFL can look to in terms of possible suspension. Obviously, the league kind of wants to get back to playing football and not being the focus. But they still need to make sure that they hand out a punishment that I think the majority of the public feels like is fair based on everything that's been reported that happened with Deshaun Watson in Houston. And I'm interested to see what that number is going to be, if it's going to be 6 games, if it's going to be 8 games, if it's going to be an entire season. I don't know if that's possible, but it seems like it might be possible considering what, Trevor Bauer, was suspended, I think, 2 years by MLB. Again, different circumstances in terms of what happened. But yeah, they're going to have to try to walk a fine line there because, people on both sides of the issue are going to be watching it closely.
There's no doubt. This is a really, really interesting scenario for the league and what they do with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Last one. Speaking of Cleveland, I will ask you this. I ask every NFL guy I have, Eric. Do you believe Baker Mayfield will be on the Browns roster come week 1? I do not. I just don't think he's going to do it. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be on the roster, too. I think too much has happened and transpired between both Baker and the team that it just doesn't make sense for him to continue to be there, even though they don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun. They have a capable backup. I believe Jacoby is there, right, Brissett, as their number 2. Actually, Jacoby's there because Teddy's in Miami. So they have a guy that can come in and run their offense. I think there's interest in Baker. I just don't think there's interest in the number that he currently has with his contract. So I think ultimately either they're going to have to take a late round pick for him and pay some of that money to move him along, or they're just going to have to outright release him. And if that's the case, I do think that there's a handful of landing spots that make sense for Baker, whether it's Carolina or potentially Houston, Pittsburgh, Detroit, even Seattle, even though it seems like they're okay with going with Drew Lock or Geno Smith. I do feel like Baker is a starting quarterback in the league, but I just think he's going to take the right situation, and I think ultimately Cleveland's going to have to let him go and ultimately release him.
Good stuff today from Eric Williams. Find him there, foxsports.com, national NFL writer, Eric_J_Williams on Twitter. Eric, I appreciate your time as always. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me, Nate. I appreciate it.
Eric Williams, foxsports.com, national NFL writer here on the Nate Brown Show. Really good guest. Really good stuff. Good stuff. You can't fix the Pro Bowl. You just can't fix the Pro Bowl. That thing, the players started not playing, okay, and it's over. It's over. I mean, back in the day, Joe Montana, John Elway, these guys, Lawrence Taylor, they used to play. Yeah, I mean, at least they used to play. It still was an all-star game. I get it, but they still played and tackled and did the whole thing. It was a game. I used to like the Pro Bowl, and it is gone. Players don't want to play in it, number one, because there's not a huge incentive. So you got all these replacements. It's like, oh, alternate. They're still good players. I mean, they're NFL guys, but it's over. And then people, well, the NFL's considering eliminating the Pro Bowl. You know what I believe? I don't think the NFL is going to eliminate the Pro Bowl at all. I think they just throw stuff. Well, they're discussing it. Right? Oh, it's like an agenda item. It was at the quarterly NFL owners meeting yesterday. It is an agenda item. You know what happens at meetings you go to? I've been in organizations. You go to the meeting. Well, it was a great discussion. Oh, it was lively. It was great discussion. Yeah, what are you guys going to do with the Pro Bowl? We tabled it. They're not going to do anything with it. Well, 7-on-7 passing competition, maybe. No, they got TV deals. They got the game on. They're making money. This isn't like a big problem. They're just lip service. Well, the fans don't really like it. People are complaining about it. The players aren't tackling each other. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. My idea, last idea. Instead of the Pro Bowl at the end of the year, here it is. Take the worst 2 bottom teams. Sorry, you're going to have to play an extra game. Don't stink, okay? Take the worst 2 bottom teams in the league. You guys play each other. That decides who gets picked number 1 in the April NFL draft. No more Pro Bowl. I want a real game, and I want to see 2 teams battle it out for the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Love it. I absolutely love it. Forget the all-star stuff. Nobody gives a rip. Nobody gives a rip. Two worst teams. Oh, you're going to have to make them play 18 games then? Yeah, they stink. Sorry. You want the number 1 pick in the draft? You got to play a real game. Week 18 for the NFL number 1 pick. All right, take it or leave it. Jeremy Evans is up, sports attorney. I want to talk to a real attorney, expert in this. Name, image, and likeness. Who could sue who? How important is this whole scenario moving forward if college football makes big changes with name, image, and likeness rules and regulations? Jeremy Evans, sports law expert, next.
From high school to college to the pros, this is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid.
Renewal by Anderson. Enjoy the view again. There is nothing like that morning cup of coffee when you have Renewal by Anderson windows. Their exclusive Fibrex material is twice as strong as vinyl. The difference is huge. No more drafts, no more absurd heating or cooling bills. A quiet home, the outside noise is gone. Renewal by Anderson's incredible financing offer is here right now. No money down, no interest, no payments for a full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Enjoy the view again with Renewal by Anderson.
Street.
Black Hills Federal Credit Union's Member Auto Sale is Saturday, June 25th. From 8 a.m. to noon, member-owned vehicles will be available to shop at our Plaza Drive location in Rapid City. Are you a BHFCU member looking to sell a car, truck, or recreational vehicle? Now is your chance. BHFCU brings interested buyers to you, and selling is a breeze with on-site financing. Learn more at bhfcu.com/MAS. BHFCU is a member-owned not-for-profit.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Your free Gold Club card is your ticket to the biggest giveaways in Deadwood at First Gold Gaming Resort. Just be actively playing with your card for a chance to win your share of $8,600 in promo play through hot seat drawings every weekend. Win $1,000 in cash every hour from 6 p.m. till midnight on Saturday nights. Or get locked in on the king of all promotions, the $12,000 Golden Cash Blast on Saturday, May 28th. First Gold Gaming Resort. It's where Deadwood begins and the winning never ends.
Physical therapy, athletic training, and sports science all at one place. Physio in Rapid City. Dr. Dan Jensen and his team at Physio are ready to help you perform at your best. From the youth athlete to the active adult, trust the team at Physio. Physio offers the skilled, personalized approach to physical therapy and athletic training, building the best athletes in the Black Hills as the official strength and conditioning provider for Stevens, Central, and the Rapid City Rush. Learn more at bhphysio.com.
If you're planning to keep on driving your current vehicle with higher miles on it, drive with confidence after a thorough inspection at Pro Auto Care. Regular service and preventative maintenance is extra important for higher mileage vehicles, so bring yours on into Pro Auto Care to keep it running longer for you. At Pro Auto Care, Tom and his crew pledge to give you an honest evaluation and never over-service or overcharge. From inspections to oil changes, brakes, tires, and major automotive service, trust Pro Auto Care. Open as usual at 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick. Remember to catch me weekday mornings from 7 until 10 a.m. right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 a.m. Fox Sports Rapid City. And now, back to Rapid City's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, your sports, your show, and a packed lineup tonight. As always, the Nate Brown Show live right now on Fox Sports Rapid City. If you can't catch the show live, remember the podcast. It's up. The Nate Brown Show podcast available where you download podcasts like this guy has his own podcast, the Sports Law Pod. Believe in Sports Law. You know what it is. Believe Sports Podcast Network. Really good. We have some great guests across their platform. Believe in Sports Law podcast hosted by Jeremy Evans, sports attorney. Find him on Twitter at Jeremy M. Evans ESQ. And he's here to talk NIL and more. I said, hey, I'm not an attorney. I've told you that on this show a lot. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an expert. And then so I said, why don't we get a guy like that? All right, let's do it. Jeremy Evans on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Rapid City. Jeremy, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Nate, no, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be with you.
Well, I appreciate your time. So I want to get right into it. Name, image, and likeness. I got a few questions for you in this new world. One is, you know, my audience always says, Nate, you said the NCAA should have done something before this whole thing went wild, and now everybody can just do anything, it appears. And I said, I think the NCAA was worried about litigation. They've spent $300 million in lobbying and attorney fees to try and figure out this whole thing for years in various cases. Am I right in saying this could have been an issue with the NCAA from the law side?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I think from the NCAA standpoint, had they spent the time to invest into a system by which, athletes could, essentially profit from their name, image, and likeness, we probably wouldn't be in this circumstance. But I think, unfortunately, the NCAA, either because they miscalculated the legislatures coming forward with legislation as California did, and I think it was Mark Emmert, the head of the NCAA, that said it was California's legislation that really instigated them changing their rules. So if the NCAA had gotten ahead of it, I think we'd be in a completely different place. We might have some sort of scheme in terms of what the rules look like, or at least more clearly defined. I think we'd probably be in a better spot. But they didn't take that route, and now we have 20 different state laws, and is what some might call the Wild West in terms of name, image, and likeness.
Is it valid, Jeremy, to say the NCAA kind of said, hey, states have laws. If your state doesn't have a law, well, we're going to leave it up to the conferences and the schools. The NCAA kind of pulled themselves out of this, and it feels, is it valid to say because of potential litigation problems that could have happened?
I think so, in the sense that there's always potential for litigation, particularly when you have one state that has different laws, and how do you manage that, and how can you... But I think on the NCAA's mind, probably the bigger concern was that they didn't want to get into the business of managing name, image, and likeness, and I think they saw the writing on the wall with what the states were doing, and they said, we're essentially going to treat this like the federal government does when it comes to the Constitution and state rights, is we're going to say, ultimately the states have the ability to pass laws and do what they want, and we're not going to get in the middle of that. And I think as long as the NCAA were to have some rules in place, I think it would be okay. I don't know if it was the litigation piece. I think litigation was a part of it in the sense that they were suing to keep the rules the way that they were and to have more control. But I think eventually they came to the point where they lost 9-0 in the Supreme Court on the Alston case about education benefits, and then states were passing laws. There was really nothing they could do. But again, I still think there's an opportunity for them to step in and say, here's a minimum threshold that we can guide ourselves with.
Jeremy Evans, sports attorney. His podcast, Believe in Sports Law, on the Believe Podcast Network. He's here on the Nate Brown Show talking name, image, and likeness from the sports law side. So, we always hear this, Jeremy, as well. Well, you could just cap how much each athlete makes in name, image, and likeness. Let me just throw that by you. Can you cap it? Where are we at legally?
So that's a really good question, because I think state laws could potentially, let me rephrase that. I don't think state laws could do it, but I think the conferences potentially could. And the reason I say that is because from the conference side, you're really dealing with a private association, I guess unless you have a public school. But generally, you're dealing with a private association in the actual conference. That's not like a public entity. Potential schools might be. So a conference could say, if you want to be a part of our conference, you have to follow these private association rules. And in those rules, we cap the money. So that's sort of one interesting aspect. I know that some states thought about doing that, and they thought about limiting the money and putting money into a trust. I will say, from a legislation standpoint, California is now considering in their state legislature a bill that would allow student athletes to It would essentially split the revenue that athletic departments get 50-50 between the athletic department and the university on one side, and then student athletes on the other. And so student athletes in all sports would receive $25,000 per year as a flat sort of, fee, if you will. And then the rest of the money would be split up post-graduation to each athlete if they graduated. So it provides some incentive in there. But I would say that law specifically calls out this point of employment, and it says that these student athletes are not employees, which I think is a big issue for universities. So I don't think they can cap it, but I think the way they're getting away with it in terms of NIL, because those are private deals. It'd be very difficult to regulate a private contract. Let's say you and I have a contract together, and I'm your agent or your lawyer, and we'll get you an NIL deal. It'd be very difficult for a school to monitor that and to say, oh, you can't make X dollars, unless the university was controlling the transaction and negotiating the deal for the athlete.
Jeremy Evans on Sports Attorney, his podcast, Believe in Sports Law, talking NIL. I want to get your read on this. If this were to ever happen, Jeremy, Gene Smith, Ohio State athletic director, a few weeks ago said, we may have to look at kind of having our own league here with our own rules and regulations. And it looks like, well, we could go separate of the NCAA. And then he said we could maybe do some different things there as far as putting some rules in on name, image, and likeness. Then it comes down to, well, now is that entity ready to potentially fight any legal battles there that could arise?
So that's a really good question too, and I think we're probably already going to see that in the sense of you got the Power 5 conferences, with the Pac-12, ACC, SEC, Big 10, and Big 12. And maybe there's some more realignment there. Obviously, there's two schools, Texas and Oklahoma, going to the SEC. So there's going to be some additional schools moving around. But we've already seen the NCAA defer to the conferences to say institute certain rules or certain programs. And they're already negotiating their own television deals. So I actually think where a lot of the quote-unquote legislation will come from is probably not from the states, because one interesting thing about state law is that state law and case law already included rights of publicity. The issue was that the NCAA said you cannot, as a student athlete, you cannot make money off your name, image, and likeness. So the Fair Pay to Play Act in California and all these other laws that were created there were already laws on the books. It just forced the NCAA's hand by saying, here's this new law. So, and ultimately, even if the state passed that law and the NCAA didn't remove its requirements, the states might be, the athletes still wouldn't be able to make money, because it's the NCAA as a private association that sets those rules. So I don't think states will do much more, but to your point, I think conferences will become, essentially their own sort of governing bodies, where they might set their own thresholds. And that may be a benefit to some athletes and maybe not to others. So you might have a situation where, if there's not a uniform law, where, let's say, the Big Ten has certain rules and the SEC has different rules compared to the Pac-12, and you might have, okay, well, I want to go play in the Pac-12 because the rules are less, are less strict or what have you. So I can definitely see that happening.
I'll tell you, it's a different world in college sports right now with NIL. He covers it there from the sports law side. Believe in Sports Law is the podcast. You can download it on the Believe Podcast Network with Jeremy Evans, sports attorney, on Twitter at Jeremy M. Evans, ESQ. Jeremy, good to have you. Thanks for hopping on.
Thanks, Nate. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate your time. Jeremy Evans sports attorney, live on Fox Sports Rapid City. Believe in Sports Law is the podcast on the Believe Podcast Network. There's a lot of complicated stuff there. And I love tracking it. I find it very interesting, this new world that we're in. Find it very interesting from the sports business side, sports law side. The college sports atmosphere is wild. It is wild right now. And some people say, well, it'll just fix itself. Do you believe in that? well, these deals and that deal and stuff, and, this team might, recruit a lot of players with a lot of money, and then they might stink, and then, it'll all fix itself. I don't know about that one. I'm not going to say it's just out of control like it's the worst thing ever, but I'm going to say I'm in the middle here of there's some not good stuff going on, okay? And I worry about some of these mid-major group of 5 programs being in this world. And then there's the Power 5 heavy hitters, and they're ruling this world. And you're going, how about the individual athletes? Are they getting benefited? Well, it seems that way, but what type of situation are we going to have moving forward? Is there going to be a litigation of, I had this sponsorship and then I transferred and now you said you would stay here, and there's just so much stuff going on there. So much stuff going on. Alan Bertram's in next on the Nate Brown Show on this Wednesday. Coach Bertram was here at Rapid City Central, right? Now he's the head women's basketball coach at Mount Marty over in Yankton. But he just said something yesterday that took me by surprise. Alan Bertram said he's getting calls from high schools, and they can't find people they're looking for. Guess who? Alan Bertram next.
You're listening to the only live and local sports talk show in the Black Hills. The Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports RapidCity.com and live on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Warren Chemical and Equipment Company has a 5-step lawn care program to make your lawn the best it can be. Let Warren take care of your lawn weeds, plus 5 applications of fertilizer and micronutrients for a green, healthy lawn. We also offer lawn aeration to help your lawn breathe. Warren's 5-Step Lawn Pro Service is the original lawn service company in Rapid City. Single applications of weed and feed or just lawn weeds are also available. Call Warren Chemical and Equipment Company for an estimate on our 5-step lawn care program for your lawn. Phone 342-7644.
I'm Dean Orand, and I'm running for District 33, House of Representatives. I've been a lifelong Republican and involved in this community for the past 37 years. As a business owner and active volunteer, I see what an amazing place we live in, and I'm committed to upholding the values and way of life we enjoy in the Black Hills. It's time for a fresh, conservative approach in Pierre, focused on our values, limited government, and public service. I ask for your support on June 7th. Learn more about me at deanfor33.com.
Paid for by Dean Oren for District 33. With home values rising in the Black Hills, a home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great way to get ahead. Thinking about home improvements or projects this summer? Apply for a home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank. You may have cash in your house that you didn't even know about, and it's a great time to be a homeowner. Just think about the potential of what you could do with a home equity loan. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to help. Get started on your home equity loan at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
What can Elevate Performance do for your athlete? Maggie Taylor, Hill City High School.
We can't thank Rihanna at Elevate Performance enough. After my surgery, we started an intense rehab program. Since my recovery, we have met with Rihanna on occasion to help strengthen my body so an injury doesn't happen again. I feel like I couldn't be where I am at today as an athlete without the help of Rihanna at Elevate Performance.
Get your athlete started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Hey, Rapid City, it's Doug Gottlieb. Join me weekdays from 1 to 4 right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports, Rapid City. And now let's get you back to the Nate Brown Show, Rapid City's sports talk show.
Welcome back in. Fox Sports Rapid City, the Nate Brown Show live, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Thanks for being here on the radio side. Remember, you can watch the show on Twitter at Nate Brown Show. Bring us up there. Watch the show. Follow us at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. And the podcast will be up tonight, as we always do. Download the podcast if you can't listen live. Alan Bertram's on tonight. Of course, he was here at Rapid City Central in the girls basketball program. He's off and running at Mount Marty. Head women's basketball coach, Mount Marty, and he's been busy, man. I've been following him on the recruiting trail, and he's stopping by the program today. I want to talk to him about this interesting subject here. First things first, Coach, good to get you on. How busy have you been?
It's been crazy. It's good to be on. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind the last month here at Mount, and just really needed to go out and get some really high quality kids, high quality players, high quality just people, and to try to rebuild this program. And we've been very fortunate. We've signed 18 girls already in the last month, and feel really good about the incoming class that's coming in next year, and really hope to be able to make a difference in the season coming up.
Okay, you give me your perspective on this, because I talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago. You've had a great summer program, Sacred Hoops, and have helped a lot of kids get into some opportunities there. And then you ran a high school program too. How should high school programs and a program like Sacred Hoops / AAU work together when you look from the college coaching side?
It's gigantic, and I think the biggest thing you can see is, especially East River, the number of athletes who participate in summer basketball is out the roof. I mean, if you're a high school player anywhere in the Sioux Falls metro area, whether that's Class B all the way up to AA, if you have any inklings of wanting to play high school basketball, you're playing summer basketball, and so I think that's one of the reasons why the hoops over in this area, especially on the east side of the state, are so good. The kids play a lot. Many of those kids are multi-sport athletes. They don't use the excuse, well, I also, I do this, so I can't do this. They're very dedicated to what they want to do, and it's different when a school like Sioux Falls, Washington, for example, on the boys' side has to cut 23 to 30 kids every year just off the freshman team because that many kids are going out. And so I think it's a big correlation to the success at the high school level. And then obviously with the collegiate level, it's gigantic because it gives college coaches an opportunity to go out and really recruit kids during the summertime. And as a college coach, you're not in the day-to-day grind of your workload at the university level. It allows you to get out and really watch these kids play up close and personal, and really allows you to recruit and evaluate players on a much deeper level. And so I think it's crucial. It's something that, whether it's right or wrong, it's here, and it's always been here for the last 10, 15 years strong. And from the college standpoint, it's vital for the recruiting portion of things.
How much are you going to go and watch high school games, meaning not the summer game, high school games when you're in your season?
Well, it becomes a little difficult. I mean, although it's a priority, what we try to do is narrow our focus by the time the school year starts on the kids that we're really going to go after. And then it's important that between myself and our coaching staff that we get out and not just to recruit, but to also really those kids you really want to have in your program to really show them that you value them as people and their families. And so by getting out to those games at the high school level, it's vitally important, and so, next year, going into the year, we'll evaluate our 2023 class and the areas that we really need to recruit, and then we'll put a priority list together, and those athletes will get out and watch, and then obviously, when you have a free night, when you love the game, it's great to get out and watch it played at the high school level. And so, we'll try to get out 3 nights a week during the season. Our schedule typically we play on Wednesdays and Saturdays in the GPAC conference, and so that opens up a lot of Tuesdays and Fridays, especially Fridays when we're not on the road for a Saturday game, to be able to get out and watch a lot of basketball at the high school level.
Mount Marty women's basketball coach is Alan Bertram. He's here on the Nate Brown Show. I wanted to have you on, Coach, because I saw this, and I've been talking about this the past a year or two. I said, there's a couple of things going on here in South Dakota sports and across the nation. We got officials are kind of few and far between. They're getting older, and some new guys and gals are stepping in, but not enough. Maybe we're not at the breaking point with official shortage yet, but I think we're getting there. I said some people don't talk about as much a coaching shortage. I feel like we're going to run out of some quality coaches, I think. And you just said this yesterday. You said 4 schools have contacted you saying, hey, do you have anybody connection, networking, any coaches out there? They don't have anybody applying for high school coaching jobs. 4 schools?
Yeah, that's just in the last week and a half. I would say in the last 3 years, I've averaged a minimum of 10 calls from ADs across South Dakota asking for help in this area. And so, and I want people to, like, when you think about it, it's not just at your small schools. Many of the calls I'm getting, half of them are from the AA level, where they can't fill positions because no one will apply. Sioux Falls Roosevelt, their growth program last year, didn't even have a sophomore coach the entire season because they couldn't get anyone to fill it. And so when you're at a school that size and you can't fill your coaching staff because people aren't willing to step up and to coach, then there's a major problem there. And so a lot of times when people hear that, they think, well, it's, somewhere in Bison or some tiny town. This is happening in the B, A, and AA level across the board, from assistants to head coaches. Schools are really struggling. There's a lot of positions, 20 years ago when I first started, if you had a AA level job over here in Sioux Falls that was open, you'd have 50 candidates applying for those positions.
Yeah.
Now there are several of these head positions that are being that are open that you're getting single-digit number of applications for. And so, and that's at your biggest schools. So you can only imagine what it's like when a small school has an opening. Some of those are going months without an application. And I'll use my old hometown for a perfect example. Clem High School last year, one of my former teammates had to just step up in November and take the job because nobody else wanted it. And that was 3 weeks before the season started. And so there's a lot of things like that happening. And you're dead on with your official thing too. We are at an epidemic with our officials. We've got a lot of officials who have been officiating for a very long time, and God bless them, because without them we can't play. But I personally have talked to several of those officials who would love to be able to step down. They're ready to retire. They've been doing it for 30 years, but they can't. They can't. They know if they do that there's not enough officials out there to fill at the varsity level a lot of their obligations. We've got officials that are doing 5 games a week on some weeks in the wintertime, and so it's an issue. And sometimes the problem with those issues is people talk about them every once in a while. It's brought up. You see different things even on the official side of things where people are trying to, the state will try to recruit and things like that to get people to do it. But oftentimes there's not action taken until it becomes a major problem. And so I think we have to become much more proactive.
I'll ask you this, Coach, and there's a lot of reasons I think why maybe we don't have as many coaching candidates. I mean, I go through it: money, pressure, parents, lack of support, maybe from some administration, things like this. There's a lot of reasons. So I've ran through it all, and I don't think it's just one. But how can we get more coaches? Where do you think we need to put a priority at? Is it compensation, because it's a lot of work? How can you get more people coaching?
Well, things have changed so much, in your major sports, football, basketball, and volleyball for sure. It's no longer a situation where people hope that you'll do something in the off season. You're pretty much required. The school's not telling you have to, but if you're not running open gyms and you don't have the weight room open 3 days a week, and you're not going to team camps, and you're not doing all those things in the summertime, one, you're going to not be very good. It's not going to take long before you get your butt beat on a regular basis. So you have to do it. But by the same token, if you're not doing it, then the pressure from the parents and people who expect it to be done, you're going to hear about it. And so coaches' contracts are set up for the season. And most coaches, if you're at the A level, you're making $3,500. And when people break down just the season where you got practices every single night, you got your 20-some games, you got your game film, you got all the preparation that goes into it during the season. Even if you just took the hours during the season for the compensation that's being paid, you're not being paid very much per hour.
Right.
And then when you throw in all the off-season hours, and the off-season hours far exceed the in-season hours, with zero compensation for any of those hours, you're asking coaches to do something for pennies an hour. And no coach does coaches for money. Going in, you're not going to make it. But by the same token, a lot of the pressures now, parents are way worse than they used to be. Trust me. And and even the pressure from a lot of other areas. When you're making $1 an hour, if you were to do that in the real world, you're not going to stay at that job very long. And so I said, probably one of the most highly scrutinized positions in any community is a coach. You can be a banker in town and make really good money, and no one's at the coffee shop talking junk about you. But you can be coaching.
That's why
for
you love it, right,
$1.
Coach? Yeah.
And so I just think compensation is not the only reason why people are getting out, but we are so grossly underpaying our coaches in South Dakota, just like our officials. They are not being compensated fairly. And I think that would be a huge step in the right direction.
Really interesting. I've heard that from listeners as well, saying, I don't know what the number is, but the numbers that are now in place, they've been in place for a long, long time, and I think it might be time to take a look at it. Alan Bertram on tonight. He's the head women's basketball coach at Mount Marty. Coach, always great to have you. I appreciate you coming on, and good luck out there. We'll continue to watch the program. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate you, Nate, and everything you do, my man. It's always great to be on, and keep doing what you're doing. You do great things.
I appreciate that. Alan Bertram on tonight. Love talking ball with him. Head coach there at Mount Marty now on the women's basketball side. And he threw this out there yesterday on social media and said, hey, I just want to let everybody know, I've been contacted by 4 schools here in South Dakota the last week. They don't have anybody applying for coaching jobs. They don't have anybody applying for these jobs. And I've been hitting on this quite a bit over the last couple of years, saying there's major factors that we got to start looking at here. And if we want good coaches, it's getting hard out there. And I said 3 factors. You want somebody that knows what they're doing. So we expect expertise. We expect them to put in the time, right? The time, and then they have to have a thick skin. So you're looking for a unique person there, okay? Time. Not going to get paid much. Got to have a thick skin, deal with the pressure and the outside politics and stuff. And then you better have an expertise, too. So you narrow that pool down. It's getting tough out there. It's getting tough. I appreciate him coming on. A quick timeout. Into the Drive at 5 tonight, I'm going to go to Adam Brenneman coming up, college football analyst, former Penn State tight end. We'll talk Big Ten, potentially. Yes, the Big Ten. Would they get rid of their divisions right now? We'll talk to a former Big Ten tight end, Adam Brenneman, on the way. First, the Drive at 5 is next, and it's a Wednesday. That means, hey, it's an early version of 5 questions from Chris. 5 questions from Chris and 5 answers from me next.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, streaming live at FoxSportsRapidCity.com and right here on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM Fox Sports Rapid City.
Renewal by Anderson. Enjoy the view again. There is nothing like that morning cup of coffee when you have Renewal by Anderson windows. Their exclusive Fibrex material is twice as strong as vinyl. The difference is huge. No more drafts, no more absurd heating or cooling bills. A quiet home, the outside noise is gone. Renewal by Anderson's incredible financing offer is here right now. No money down, no interest, no payments for a full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Enjoy the view again with Renewal by Anderson.
Values rising in the Black Hills. A home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank is a great way to get ahead. Thinking about home improvements or projects this summer? Apply for a home equity loan from Black Hills Community Bank. You may have cash in your house that you didn't even know about, and it's a great time to be a homeowner. Just think about the potential of what you could do with a home equity loan. Black Hills Community Bank is ready to help. Get started on your home equity loan at bhcbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
We're all going somewhere. Going higher, faster, farther. Going in new directions, to new places. At Monument Health, we keep going so you can keep going. We're dedicated to advanced orthopedic care with the latest innovations, technology, expertise and treatment. So keep exploring, keep making memories, keep going with Monument Health as your partner. Learn more at monument.health/orthopedics.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City. This is the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Hi, it's Colin Coward. Great to be in the Black Hills. Getting the herd weekdays 10 to 1 on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports.
All right, welcome back in on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. It's been a tough 24 hours, right? Hope you're all doing well. Fox Sports Rapid City, 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Thought-provoking sports talk always here on the Nate Brown Show. Adam Brenneman's coming up. He's a former tight end for the Penn State Nittany Lions. He's a college football analyst now. Brenneman shows up as his podcast. Adam Brenneman on the way. By the way, Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss coach, right? You can leave it up to Lane. Lane Kiffin talking about name, image, and likeness today, and he just goes off. I love to see it. I love to see it. Lane Kiffin, do we agree with Lane? Do we not? We'll discuss that next. Adam Brenneman in, college football analyst and former Penn State tight end coming up. Also going to get into this. The Aberdeen Central football coach's 1 year, resigns here yesterday. And a different philosophy when it comes to the off-season training program. And we'll talk to David Tewksbury with Fox Sports Aberdeen, Fox Sports Radio Aberdeen, to get the latest on that. Interesting stuff out there. All right, 5 questions from Chris on a Wednesday, an early version. We've got baseball tomorrow coming up, Post 22 up in Sturgis, okay, tomorrow. And so we got to go, Wednesday, Drive at 5, brought to you by Summit Automotive Group, summitautogrp.com. Your first stop, take a look at the selection, then stop by East Highway 44. Summit Auto, no high-pressure sales gimmicks, just car buying experience built around you. summitautogrp.com for your next pre-owned look. Okay, here it is. 5 questions from Chris. I love it. I love it. By the way, my wife likes it as well. She always is interested. What's Chris going to ask Nate this week? And here it is. 5 questions from Chris. Let's serve it up. Question 1 from our loyal listener, Chris. Nate, which professional sports league has the greatest championship trophy? Which? That's an easy one, Chris. That's an easy one. A little rapid fire. It's the Lord Stanley Cup. It's the Lord Stanley Cup, and I'm not even a hockey, #1 fan, right? I like hockey. I'm watching playoff hockey, but I'm not a hockey expert. I didn't grow up playing hockey or watching much hockey, but Rapid City's become a nice hockey town, and I look at it and say, you look at the trophies, okay, yeah, Lombardi, it's great, NBA, okay, Major League Baseball, yeah, it's the Stanley Cup. It's just, by the look of it, the whole thing, the celebration there with the Stanley Cup, it's the Lord Stanley Cup. That's what it is. Best trophy in sports. Do you agree? Okay. Question 2 from Chris. Nate, you've been talking about the different college conferences and their TV media rights coming up for renewal and possible ramifications. Is it the conference's job to get the most money for their media rights or to get the best experience for viewing for the public? Interesting, Chris. So what he's meaning by this is, okay, if the Big Ten Network has, people bidding for their media rights, do they just keep it traditional TV? Hey, we got a deal here with ESPN, and we got a deal over here like they have done with Fox, or what? Or do they go, Apple TV streaming has offered the most money, so sorry if you don't have Apple TV, we're going to go with Apple TV for the Big Ten. What should you do? Well, I'll leave that to the academics, but I'm going to tell you this. I think you have to be careful with going streaming only. Even today. You know, it's kind of like this show. I mean, I think about this, right? I'm just a little radio show in Rapid City, but we do radio, we do Twitter, we do YouTube, we have the live video stream. I mean, it's like, you know, people may watch it here, may listen to it there, may listen to the podcast. We try and have all options available. However you can catch this program, right? Whether it's live for 15 minutes on your way home, whether it's walking your dog, listening to the podcast, whatever it is, we try and have it available. So I'm going to say this. The Big Ten, for example, and whoever, the SEC, the media rights deal coming up, I don't think you can go streaming only, even if they're coming in at $1 billion a year. I don't think you can. But again, I'm not signing the $1 billion deal. Easy for me to say. I think you got to have it available. Streaming an element, got to be available. That's what the NFL has done. NFL says, hey, we're going to go Amazon for Thursday Night Football. But guess what? We're still going to have Sunday Night Football on NBC. We're still going to have Monday Night Football on ESPN. You got to have it. Okay, the NBA draft order was announced last week, and the Orlando Magic have the first pick in this year's draft. Of all the free agency built Big Three teams this year, none made it past the first round. 2 didn't even make it into the playoffs, Lakers, Clippers. Do you think the basketball NBA front offices are realizing it's better to build through the draft and create a Big Three atmosphere like Golden State did, or will teams keep trying to buy free agents? NBA is a different beast. It's really takes you a while to build through the draft. I know you can get one guy, but think about the Pelicans. The Pelicans had Anthony Davis, and then not long after that, they got Zion Williamson, right? So they had it. They were starting to build through the draft, and then it blows up. Zion injury. Anthony Davis says, I want to go to the Lakers. I don't think the NBA team's like, yeah, we're going to wait. Golden State, we are patient. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, we saw it all coming. That takes a while. I don't see it happening, Chris. Good question. Great question, by the way. But the NBA model is, let's go out and get this star and that star. They're not going to wait to draft a star, draft another star a couple of years later. It's not the model. I don't think it's going to work. We'll see what the Orlando Magic, a team like that, decide. 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show. Question 4. Major League Baseball pitcher Trevor Bauer's grievance hearing on his 2-year baseball ban is being heard right now. The Dodgers players have been vocal about stating they don't want him back on the team. Do you think Trevor Bauer would be accepted in any clubhouse? Will he play in the majors again? That's dicey. I've been following that Trevor Bauer deal and the allegations and baseball banning him 2 years. I was surprised by it, frankly. I mean, Major League Baseball sending a big statement there. Somehow, some way, if players can play, they usually find their way back in. I'll just leave it at that. I see it a ton in the NFL. We see it over and over and over. If Trevor Bauer can pitch, maybe the Dodgers don't bring him back. Will somebody, through this mess of these allegations, his problem? Probably. And could be unfortunate. All right, last one. 5 questions from Chris on a Wednesday leading up to Memorial Day. He says, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer. What is on the grill at the Brown household? What is on the grill? I'm going to tell you, I don't get too fancy. You know, I buy a half a beef from a great guy, Eastern South Dakota raised beef. I love it. I just absolutely love it. Have this relationship. I get a half a beef, and we serve it up. You want to know what I really want? Memorial Day weekend, 70 degrees, the grill on the deck. It's a ribeye. That's it. I'll season it up. I'll do it all. You can't get better than a South Dakota raised ribeye. Can you? No, you can't. 5 questions from Chris on a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show, and we're back with Adam Brenneman, college football analyst, former Penn State tight end, on the way.
The Nate Brown Show.
Renewal by Anderson. Enjoy the view again. There is nothing like that morning cup of coffee when you have Renewal by Anderson windows. Their exclusive Fibrex material is twice as strong as vinyl. The difference is huge. No more drafts, no more absurd heating or cooling bills. A quiet home, the outside noise is gone. Renewal by Anderson's incredible financing offer is here right now. No money down, no interest, no payments for a full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Enjoy the view again with Renewal by Anderson.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows around 48 tonight under clear skies, south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tomorrow, highs around 79. Clear skies tomorrow night, lows around 55. Temperatures a bit above average Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 70s to the upper 80s. Chance for scattered storms Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 64.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone, it's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Why choose Renewal by Anderson for your replacement windows? First of all, comfort. Your home will be so much more comfortable and quiet, especially when it's frigid outside or blazing hot. Renewal by Anderson is a 5-star energy partner. Our windows could help you cut your energy bills significantly. Our windows can also significantly increase the value of your home. Our installers are certified full-time experts, not subcontractors. We're local people. Renewal by Anderson is a family business. If you want to talk to the owner, Andy, he's one phone call away. We have the strongest warranty out there. We stand behind our work like no other. Please read our outstanding customer reviews. We always have great financing options, too. There's no reason to wait. You could probably have new windows in your entire home for less than your cable bill each month. And when was the last time that cable bill paid you back like our windows will in energy savings, home value, and comfort? Please visit us on the web at RBARapidCity.com to learn about our financing and book your free in-home consultation.
June 4th. Deadwood Moto presents all-in freestyle motocross and pro arena cross race. X Games athletes, motocross racing, snowmobile backflips, giveaways, meet and greets with top riders. See unbelievable tricks with the pros flying over 75 feet gaps. Featuring Jeremy Twitch Stenberg, Genki Watanabe, Winter X Games snowmobile medalist Willie Elam, and more. June 4th, Days of 76 Event Complex. For more details, go to deadwoodallin.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back. The Nate Brown Show, live, Fox Sports Rapid City. 106.7 FM, 1150 AM. Bring us up on Twitter. Watch the show live at Nate Brown Show on Twitter. Talk college football. Lane Kiffin goes off a little bit on name, image, and likeness. I always love seeing that. I love seeing that. Lane Kiffin said today, we're pros here. He goes, am I the only one saying, we're pros. We're not. He said it out loud today. We're a professional sport. These are professional players. Lane Kiffin, Ole Miss head coach. Let's start there. Adam Brenneman, college football analyst, former college tight end, Penn State, UMass. Find him on Twitter at Adam Brenneman81. His podcast, Brenneman Shows Up. Adam, good to have you back on. How are you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on.
Okay, I want to ask you, what do you think of that sentence there from Lane Kiffin today? Quote, we're a professional sport. They are professional players.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's what everyone's known for a long time, but everyone's been afraid to say it, right? I mean, I think a lot of the powers to be in college football have wanted to pretend that it's an amateur sport for a while, and now with the NIL stuff and the money people are willing to pay to get kids to attend their school, proven that it's probably not able to. You probably can't say it's an amateur sport with a straight face anymore. It's full blown professionalism now. So there's obviously a lot of unknown, and a lot of things probably going to be changing in college football and college athletics as a whole over the next few years.
Okay, so you weren't so long ago a college tight end yourself, and now you interview a lot of these guys. You interview a lot of these guys that are looking to go to the pros, and you have some great conversations with this. So you're engaged with these guys. And I'll ask you this, because Lane Kiffin said, part of this interview, you take a 17-year-old now, it's one of those things that money matters. So he said this, Adam, the facility stuff, where we're building this and we're building that, that was the old way of recruiting. Hey, we got this, we got that. Now Lane says it's money. Money is going to be the most important factor. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's funny, you know, when you look at NFL facilities and NFL weight rooms and locker rooms. I mean, they're not very nice. I mean, I was at the Arizona Cardinals facility a little bit ago. I mean, it's kind of old, man. I mean, it could use a couple updates in that thing. And you know, the reason is because players don't care. They're following the money. They don't care what the facilities look like. The reason in college football that facilities are so nice and you see renovations almost every single year at the major programs is because there's recruiting and they're trying to, you know, there's no quote unquote money involved, so they have to influence them based on facilities and what they can provide, you know, from a support standpoint. But that's changing now, you know, and I agree with Lane Kiffin. I mean, the facilities aren't going to matter anymore. If a kid's getting offered a few $1 million to go to a school, he's not going to care all that much how nice the training room looks. If he's making a few $1 million to go to a school. So it's just funny, you know, when you compare the NFL to college, that's just something that I've always thought was kind of interesting how, you know, the college facilities and everything are so much nicer, but you'll probably see it trend back to that direction too, because a lot of the money that donors would be giving for facilities are probably going to start going to these collectives, or already are going to these collectives that pay for NIL deals.
Adam Brenneman on his podcast. Brenneman shows up really good. College football analyst. Find him on Twitter at Adam Brenneman81. I'll ask you this. Do you believe, you know, we had this spat here with Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban, and do you believe that the Ole Misses, the Texas A&Ms, whoever else can close the gap with name, image, and likeness? Do you think it closes the gap with the Alabamas and Ohio States or not?
Yeah, I think it's got the ability to. I mean, I think it. You know, a lot of it just depends on how well these groups can organize their boosters. Which the tricky part is, coaches and administrators aren't supposed to be a part of. So it's really an interesting situation. But I think it can. You know, if you can find you know, boosters and donors that have the ability to do it. You know, you look at like University of Florida, Tennessee. They were some of the first ones to kind of organize around these collectives in the NIL space, and it's paid off. They've recruited really, really well. Now everyone's kind of catching up, but I think it does have the ability to close the gap. I mean, Texas A&M did it last year. You know, they had the number 1 class in the country. You know, to close the gap with Alabama. So I think it's definitely, you know, it's ironic now because now we're talking about is it able to actually level the playing field instead of tip it the other way. You know, it's just I think the big issue that everyone has with it really is just that no one really knows what the rules are and no one really knows how to handle it, and it just kind of got thrown at everyone without a real plan. And you know, some states have different rules and laws and. You know, I think at some point here we'll have, you know, obviously the federal government's going to step in and have to have some kind of antitrust or some kind of legislation that just makes it you know, just some base guidelines for what's allowed, what's not allowed. You know, how do you keep you know, things like pay for play from coming into effect.
Adam Brenneman on a couple more. I'll let him run. One more on this Lane Kiffin deal. He says also this is sustainable. And I've had people on the show, they've had discussions with me. They've said, you know, this will fix itself. I don't know if that's the case. I said with you, I said weeks ago, what you just said, I said, whether people like it or not, federal government might have to step in here. And I know people hate that sound of that, but I said that might be the only way. Some people say it'll fix itself. Lane Kiffin says this is sustainable.
Yeah, and I think that's the mindset that Lane Kiffin has to have, right? I mean, if you're a head coach in college football right now, you can complain about it all you want, but you better adjust, or else you won't have that job for very long. I know a couple of coaches that Power 5 coaches, and I've had some conversations, just hanging out and chatting it up a little bit, and they all hate it. I mean, they hate this space and hate what's happening and hate that they have to deal with this. And now when kids are getting recruited, the conversation starts with how much money does your collective have. They all hate it, but listen, you better adapt and you better adjust. I mean, or you're going to be on the outside looking in pretty soon. You won't be able to recruit, you won't be able to win games, and you won't have a job. So. Lane Kiffin, I read that interview that he did that you're talking about, and it's funny because in it he says exactly that. He says the coaches that are going to complain and not embrace it are the ones that are going to get fired
Right.
because they won't be able to compete.
Right. Adam Brenneman on. Okay, you played in the Big Ten there for a while, Penn State. I want to get a football question in here. The NCAA Division I Council, Adam said, okay, we don't have to have divisions in conferences for a conference champion anymore. So you don't have to do it. ACC is going to bag it. Pac-12 said they're going to bag it. I think the wheel's moving here. Big Ten hasn't said much yet. What do you think about, like, Big Ten, no divisions? You think they're just going to go, let's go top 2 teams?
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, that's been a complaint for a while that I've had, and you hate to see it. It's been a problem in the ACC. When in the Big Ten, you could have a Ohio State, freaking Minnesota Big Ten championship game when it really should have been Penn State, Ohio State, or Ohio State, Michigan, or something like that. That Big Ten East is so stacked with Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan. Obviously, recently Michigan State in the West has been really good, but I think it makes sense. Again, no one wants to see the you got Ohio State and Michigan both at 10-2, and you got Minnesota, one of those schools at 9 and at 8-4 and making the Big Ten championship game, while one of those teams at 10-2 are sitting at home. Everyone, you want to see the two best teams, and I think it makes sense. And two, like, in college football, man, like these divisions don't even make sense half the time. I mean, you look at you got Michigan and Michigan State in different divisions in the Big Ten. You got, it's just like the geographical part doesn't even really align. A lot of the time it does in some instances, but you even look at some of these mega conferences like the AAC. I mean, they don't even. I mean, you don't even know where they're at across the country. They got schools all over the place. There's no sense in having divisions. Just let them play and have the two top teams, playing the championship.
Adam Brenneman on tonight. Brenneman Shows Up. That's his podcast. Follow him on Twitter. You can watch him there at Adam Brenneman81, college football analyst. Adam, always good, man. Thanks for hopping on tonight.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for the time. Adam Brenneman in on the Nate Brown Show. Brenneman Shows Up, the podcast. College football analyst. Follow him on Twitter at Adam Brenneman81, former Penn State tight end. All right. Lane Kiffin. Lane, he gets a bad rap sometimes, right? Lane kind of, I haven't been like a number one fan. Lane just kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. But then he says some things, sometimes I go, I kind of like that. He's an open book, it seems. I don't know if that's his shtick, that's his, what his brand is or what. But some of this stuff, I'm like, Lane Kiffin, I kind of like that. And one thing he said, we're a professional sport today. He said in an interview, we're a professional sport, quote, they are professional players. Nobody wants to say it publicly, right? Nobody was. And he said, some guys are going to get paid more than others. This is pro sports. It's like the NFL. This guy gets paid more than this guy. He goes, we just need to do it right. And that's the hard part. How do you do it right? Because there's no guidelines that are being enforced, right? There's recommendations from the NCAA. Hey, here's some recommendations. Follow this rule and this rule. No recruiting with money. Oh, winky wink. Wink. Coming right back, let's talk about this situation. Aberdeen Central football. Aberdeen Central had a head coach, Scott Svensson, okay? He coached last year, and now he's not back for this next year. He resigned yesterday. A difference of philosophies from how they should run an off-season training program for the football team. What does this mean here? David Tewksbury from Aberdeen, Fox Sports Radio Aberdeen, with some details and discussion next.
This is the Nate Brown.
Renewal by Anderson. Enjoy the view again. There is nothing like that morning cup of coffee when you have Renewal by Anderson windows. Their exclusive Fibrex material is twice as strong as vinyl. The difference is huge. No more drafts, no more absurd heating or cooling bills. A quiet home, the outside noise is gone. Renewal by Anderson's incredible financing offer is here right now. No money down, no interest, no payments for a full year. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com. Enjoy the view again with Renewal by Anderson.
To live.
I'm Dean Orand, and I'm running for District 33, House of Representatives. I've been a lifelong Republican and involved in this community for the past 37 years. As a business owner and active volunteer, I see what an amazing place we live in, and I'm committed to upholding the values and way of life we enjoy in the Black Hills. It's time for a fresh, conservative approach in Pierre, focused on our values, limited government, and public service. I ask for your support on June 7th. Learn more about me at deanfor33.com.
Paid for by Dean Orange for District 33.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us to save our customers thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
When it comes to protecting your home and your belongings, what works for your neighbor most likely won't work for you. Insurance is personal, and that's why the coverage specialists at Fisher Rounds & Associates work with you to tailor a policy that protects your family, home, auto, and other valuable possessions at the most reasonable cost possible. We sweat the small and the big stuff, so you don't have to. That's at your service, at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
And welcome back in the Nate Brown Show live on a Wednesday. Fox Sports Rapid City, your sports, your show. And great guests across the board. Some great national guests and local sports newsmakers here in South Dakota. Let's talk to David Tewksbury. Hub City Radio Aberdeen. It's at, as a matter of fact, Fox Sports Radio Aberdeen. I'm a big fan. Big fan. They know what they're doing over there, Fox Sports Aberdeen. Find him on Twitter at David Tewksbury is his Twitter handle. He's here on the Nate Brown Show talking, wanted to get his take on, kind of a buzz out there in Aberdeen. The Aberdeen Central football program had a coach, Scott Svensson. This is the brother of Steve Svensson, who coached out here at Central long ago, and then Stevens recently. Okay, this is a brother. Scott Svensson came to Aberdeen, coached 1 year last year, and now has resigned. A difference of philosophy and how to run the off-season program. Interesting. David, good to have you on, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. I appreciate your time here. So I said, it appears, it got my attention out here in Rapid City. I cover high school sports, and which is what we do in South Dakota. It got my attention. It appears there's some buzz out there, a little bit of, whenever you have a coach that's there 1 year and then resigns, and then you have parents posting on social media that what's going on. What is the buzz like out there in Aberdeen on this deal?
Yeah, all of that. It's very, very interesting. That's for sure. And like you said, it got your kind of radar up a little bit out there in Rapid City, and we certainly had that conversation to a lesser degree on our program today. I'm sure we're really going to kind of sink our teeth into it tomorrow, but. It honestly, it kind of reminds me, and this might be a stretch, but you're an NFL guy. You remember Big Tuna, Big Parcells,
yes.
And Bill Parcells, and he had a great quote back in the day, and it kind of sort of reminded me of that, maybe to a lesser degree. It was, if they want you to cook the dinner, at least they ought to let you shop for some of the groceries. And it's kind of like that, sort of, but, you know, obviously on a lesser scale with the high school ranks here. It's very, very strange for sure, because, you know, you've got a head coach that says, you know, okay, off season rolls around, I want to have my guys do X, Y, and Z, but the program in and of itself says maybe we should focus maybe a little bit more on G, Q, and R or something like that.
Right, right.
It's interesting because you couldn't have both sides kind of come to an agreement, and that's really kind of the real crux of this thing, and that's kind of a bummer because you would think, you know, to a certain degree, you've got a head coach that wants to run things his way, but if you have an agreement with a certain program, in this case Sanford, they want to run things, but they couldn't have done this sort of jointly. Is you know, it's kind of a head scratcher, I guess. It's
interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Trying to come to that negotiation or compromise, if you want to say that. So to make sure people are aware, Scott Svensson, head coach Aberdeen, coached 1 year. He resigns. He said, he was quoted in the Aberdeen News there, my perspective's a little bit different. I was down in Texas, and I felt like as the head football coach, you know, I could lead our strength program and have access to the weight room. And he said, difference in philosophy here, because Sanford has a contract with Aberdeen Central, and they run the strength and conditioning program. Here's the deal, though. This isn't unique. I'm looking across the state, David, just over the years here recently. A lot of the schools are signing deals with professional strength and conditioning, you know, systems, whether that's companies or healthcare systems. Sioux Falls started the whole trend. We've done it in Rapid City. And it reminds me of the college model, meaning, hey, we have our strength and conditioning coach. They run the strength and conditioning program. Me as the head football coach at South Dakota Mines, I don't. It reminds me we're going the college route in high school. What do you say?
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I'm not quite sure. I think this might be sort of the wave of the future. Obviously, like you said, there are certainly other high schools around the state doing this. But to me, I can't get off my I can't get it out of my brain that they just couldn't come to an agreement. I think you're onto something here with this is kind of more so that college route, if you will. These guys, they are the professionals, and you would think that they know what they're talking about in terms of, you know, an off-season program. Maybe the head coach at the exact same token would say, hey, I want my defensive linemen to do a certain exercise, and, you know, they've got our defensive linemen doing different exercises. And I think that being a guy from Texas, or not from Texas, but being down in Texas for a handful of years, you know, back in the day, you know, you know this. The football is basically it's a religion down in Texas. So, you know, to really kind of have the weight of an entire community on your shoulders when you're in Texas, you probably learned a thing or two. But the exact same token, maybe this is sort of the way things are going to continue to roll on the high school side of things, with sort of off of that college model.
You know what's interesting to me? David Tewksbury on Fox Sports Radio Aberdeen talking about the Aberdeen Central football situation here. What's interesting to me is, are Texas schools not signing deals with strength and conditioning trainers / companies? I mean, that's an interest. I have no idea, but I'd be stunned if they aren't at this day and age.
Yeah, I would be shocked if they weren't. I was actually down south for a wedding a handful of years ago. I was actually in Oklahoma, just north of Texas there, obviously, if you know your geography. I know you do. But, you know, you never know. People need to look at maps more often. But my buddy and I were down there in Oklahoma, Stillwater, and we're driving around, and he goes, okay, that's where OSU plays. This is where so-and-so plays, and he points to another place, and he says, oh, that's where one of the local high school plays. And I said, what? That looks like a college stadium to me. I mean, it was a multi-million-dollar arena.
Yeah.
And you would think if you're going to put that much capital into your arena, you probably want to put a good, basically, program out on the field on Friday nights. And that goes with strength and conditioning. It goes with nutrition. It goes through just about everything, you know, practice obviously and out every single day, and, you know, to a certain degree of, basically just having everyone on the same page. So to me, I would be shocked if some of the schools down in Texas aren't running programs like that.
Now, I know you cover presentation and you're on the college side, but you cover the Aberdeen sports scene. So I look at it, Scott Svensson resigns after one season as head football coach. They got 4 wins last year. They dropped down to Double-A. They were playing Triple-A. They dropped to Double-A. Got 4 wins. He won a couple of state titles down in Texas at Katy High School. It's a big high school. How big of a loss do you think for Aberdeen on the football side? I saw posts from parents, and I know not everybody's in agreement, but it's out there saying, man, we're going to lose a good football coach here.
Yeah, I think that's probably fairly accurate until the next coach comes along and wins maybe 7 games or 8 games. We have no idea. That's the truth of the matter. Obviously, right now for Golden Eagles fans and parents of these athletes, these student athletes, it stings, especially for these student athletes that really enjoyed this coach. But at the exact same token, if you have a new coach comes along next year and maybe does things a little bit differently, maybe some of those parents, I should say, that were really all on board with Coach Svensson, maybe they come along for the ride a little bit. So certainly right now, as we're kind of in the heat of this thing, for Central fans, certainly it stings for them, and they're going to say, how are we going to get out of this muck and mire? Well, okay, well, hold on a second. Let's just go ahead and wait till the higher-ups go ahead and get somebody else in here and see how that person does. If they bring in somebody else and that person, does not do quite well, then maybe you're onto something. But until time actually kind of goes off here a little bit, it's certainly hard to say, in my opinion.
I'll tell you, it's too bad either way. I do say that. You have a coach one year, and now you don't have a coach, and for both parties here, too bad. Scott Svensson resigning head football coach at Aberdeen Central. Difference in philosophy when it comes to the off-season football strength training. David Tewksbury in. Good discussion. Fox Sports Radio Aberdeen. David, always good, man. Thanks for hopping on.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate the time. Find him on Twitter at David Tewksbury. Hub City Radio, Fox Sports Aberdeen, here on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Yeah, it's I threw out the question of the day there. Let's update it. If a high school has a partnership for their off-season strength and conditioning programs, how much should the head coach be involved in operating that strength program? You say not much, the trainers should lead it? Or do you say, no, the coach can still lead it? Wow. Results, 56% of you say the coach can still lead it. 44% of you say, no, the coach should step back and have the trainers lead it. Interesting scenario these days in high school sports, and that's a big shift. Big shift now from the coach running things to the professional sports training program from the strength and conditioning side. These folks went to school for it. They put in a lot of time for it. I mean, that whole background. So it's a shift right now. It really is. Who's hot and who's not on a Wednesday? Well, I got some good stuff for you. Lincoln Kinholtz. You know this guy? You know Kinholtz, the quarterback at Pierre? He just decided he has all these Division I offers coming in. Have you heard of this? The Pierre quarterback? All of these Division I offers coming in for the Governor's quarterback. He's decided today he's down to his final 4. I'll tell you that deal next, along with the NFL announcing they've got a new product they're going to unveil next.
Your sports, your show. This is the Nate Brown Show on 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
Rapid City in the Black Hills. If you're shopping for a new vehicle, before you buy, stop by Gateway, one of our 2 locations, 123 Omaha or 410 North Campbell. We specialize in credit rebuilder programs. We specialize in finding you the rarest cars in the market. We specialize in the funnest car buying experience. If you have good credit, bad credit, no problem. We specialize in people.
Gateway Autoplex with one of the largest inventories in the Black Hills. I'm Scott Hanna.
And I'm Adam Ray.
And nobody beats
a Gateway deal.
With 2 locations in Rapid City, Pizza Ranch is ready to serve your family. Every Wednesday is Kids Day. This is the best deal out there with the best buffet in town. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult at the Pizza Ranch Buffet Wednesdays. And don't forget their senior special every Tuesday for $8.99. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. It's all good at the Pizza Ranch with 2 locations in Rapid City. And remember, daily online specials for carryout or delivery at PizzaRanch.com.
Broadcasting from the Anytime Auto Sales, Service, and Detail Studio. Sales, service, and side-by-sides. This is Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, welcome back in the Nate Brown Show on a packed Wednesday. You know it. You know it. Busy tonight. Good stuff tonight. Thanks for being a part of the show. We leave you with who's hot and who's not every night at this time. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Tonight, it's Kids Night. One child 12 and under eats free for every regular priced adult. The Pizza Ranch Buffet. Tonight, 2 locations in Rapid City. We tell you, the best buffet in town. Cactus bread, fried chicken, salad bar, pizza, buffet your way. Pizza Ranch Kids Night tonight. Open on the buffet until 8 tonight. Who's hot category is going to go to Lincoln Kienholz. Lincoln Kienholz, this great quarterback for the Pierre Governors. If you haven't been following this, it's been a lot on social media, so maybe you've missed it. The Pierre Governors quarterback has gotten Division I offers coming out his ears. I mean, this just all of a sudden started developing here this winter. There's this offer, that offer, this offer, this offer. Lincoln Kienholz has actually made the decision, the Pierre Governors quarterback, he's narrowed his choice down to 4. In my Who's Hot category, who are the 4 schools that could have the Pierre Governors quarterback? North Dakota State, Washington Huskies, the Wisconsin Badgers, and your Wyoming Cowboys. You need any help, Craig Bull? Let me know. I'm over here in South Dakota. Let me know. If you need any help, we can talk to Lincoln. We can get him on the show. Let me know if we need to put him in a Pokes uniform. We'll set him up nicely here. Little NIL. No, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. No, we're good. In my in my Who's Not category, the NFL is going to go there today. I just don't think this is a big thing, but the NFL has announced today they are getting set to launch in July their own streaming service, the NFL's own streaming service. So we got streaming services coming out our ears, speaking of that, like Lincoln Kienholz has Do You Want Offers? And now the NFL's going to put it on. You're going to get live games if you do this, and then they might give you some radio broadcasts. That's interesting. You might be able to get the radio side from a hometown team, but it's going to be $5 a month right now. The NFL streaming service. It's going to be called NFL Plus. Will you download it? I won't right now in my Who's Not tonight. Okay? I just, I look at it. I know they're trying to get with the times. MLB has MLB TV. NBA has it. Same thing. So they're showing games on that app. NFL's always gone the other route. They've let other people do it, and they get paid. Okay? Now the NFL investing. We're going to do our own streaming. We shall see. It's king. Will it be king streaming? We shall see. NFL Plus coming out soon. Thanks for listening. The Odd Couple takes over right now. The Nate Brown Show in the books. Download the Nate Brown Show podcast. It'll be